Good morning, Intuitives. Didn't put a video up yesterday. Kind of feel lazy about that. Still going to get 33 done by the end of the month, though, somehow, even if an all-nighter is involved. And yeah, just kind of got up. Long day yesterday. Hair's kind of a mess. Bothers me a little bit. But I wanted to get into a topic that's important for INFJs, once again, particularly in our younger years, and give some personal details. But before I do that, again, it's almost over the month of July, so please click the link below in the comments and donate 5 of your currency to SameU to help those with brain injury recovery. That's why I'm doing 33 videos this month. I'm struggling to do it, I know, but it will get done. Please donate to a worthy cause. So the video I want to do now is INFJ escapism, the importance of escapism for INFJs at certain times in their life. So, why is that important? Escapism, to be able to immerse ourselves in a book, a video game, a TV show, a movie, some fantasy environment, and forget all our woes. Well, because we overthink. We overthink, we go into NITI loops, we can get obsessive about certain things when we can't intuitively put the pieces of the puzzle together and make sense of a situation. We'll run it through our head over and over and over and over and over again, and it'll get to a point where that's all we can think about. And it's very hard for us to get out of that loop. So to find something that is a very rich and immersive environment that in no way relates to what we're currently going through is a good way to get our mind out of that loop and to be able to forget whatever is running circles around our brain, at least for a time. So, personal example from myself, one of the roughest times in most people's lives is middle school and high school, particularly high school before you can drive because you don't have as much freedom. So back then, and this would be the late 90s and early 2000s for me because I'm getting old, but back then I was into video games. This would be like the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 era. So I really didn't play much video games after that. But back then, that was what was out. I was, pretty into things. And my favorite video game series was called Legacy of Kain. If you're not familiar with it, there's plenty of YouTube videos on it. Very rich, immersive environment. Fantasy world centered around vampires, but not like how vampires are today. These guys were actually pretty badass and cool, and there was a lot of literary archetypes within the series. First off, like the dialogue was very Shakespearean. The voice acting was considered the best of its time. It's still highly rated today, and a lot of literary archetypes within the plot, like anti-heroes, Byronic heroes, tragic heroes. Like it was more written like a combination of a Greek tragedy and a Shakespearean play than the vast majority of video game writing at the time. Thank you, Amy Hennig. But in this series, it expanded my vocabulary. The plot was very intricate. There was a lot of twists and turns. You couldn't really predict what was happening next. And there was a lot of puzzle solving involved in the series, which, INFJs, and put the puzzle together kind of our thing. We have a bit of a Rubik's complex, so to solve the puzzle. So that was, a way for me to escape those rough years of my life into an environment that was not only very immersive, but that I had to give my undivided attention to in order to understand its intricate plot. And stuff like that's very important for us, particularly at that younger age, because especially as INFJs, we feel like nobody gets us. And unless you're at that stage of life, unless you're in like a very big school, you may very well be the only INFJ in your class, particularly if you're male. So, you have that sense all the time of nobody gets what it's like to be in your head. Nobody else is like you. There's something wrong with you. You're broken, and why can't you just be like everybody else? Particularly if you were me back then, and your mother was utterly obsessed with high school cliques and fitting in and all that, and it didn't mean a damn to you. So, the environment of Legacy of Kain gave me a chance to escape into a deep plot, expand my vocabulary, and, in the video game sense, live sort of like one of the Greek tragedies that I was so fond in reading, or like Shakespearean plays that I was so fond of reading at the time. Macbeth's my favorite, by the way. But so it's just like that, and I guess that continues later on into life. The need for an INFJ to be able to just not only have their alone time to recharge, but also be able to escape the loops in our own minds and just escape into an immersive environment and just forget everything that's going on around us. And it gets harder to do the older you get. And I feel like the need to do so isn't as strong as it was back then, because the older we get, the better we understand ourselves and the less we need to get away. And plus, we have more self-actualization and become more confident in ourselves, and also stop seeking the need of approval for others. INFJs never really care much about fitting in, but the older we get, the less we care, because we get better at seeing through people and reaching a point where we can basically tell who's full of shit and who's not, and who's lying, and then if need be call them out. But at that stage of life, I'm talking between like 11 and 15, it's a bit different. It's a bit different because you can't drive. You're a minor, so you're kind of limited of where you can go and when. So you can't just get in your car and go somewhere. So stuff like video games provide that escape into a quote unquote another world that someone of that age, particularly an INFJ, would need in order to recharge in a fake and toxic environment such as middle school or high school. That was my point of that. Um, any INFJs agree or want to share similar stories of the importance of escapism, particularly in that stage of their life, please comment below. Don't forget, again, please donate to SameU. It is, I know INFJs, we like to procrastinate, but we're coming down to the wire, and I know I shouldn't talk. I have to get the 33 videos before midnight of August 1st, but I'm going to do it, and you should donate too. Don't forget, never sell out your integrity. Always trust your intuition. Seek escapism when you need to recharge. And please donate.